Hello, this is Todd from PremierSoccerChat.com. Today I'll be discussing yellow and red cards in soccer. To start out, I thought it would be important to discuss a little bit about the referees or officials. In a soccer match, there are 4 officials. There are 2 line judges that are in charge of flagging for offsides or fouls. Then there is the main referee, whose job it is to maintain the clock, the official time of the game, as well as being in charge of blowing the whistle. He is the only referee who can actually give out a yellow or a red card. There is also a 4th official, and they are there more as a backup. On the sideline, and they are there just in case the first official gets injured. They will also hold up the board to show how much time is left at the end of the game, as also kind of to talk with the managers on the sideline if they're having some issues. So, what exactly is a yellow card? In soccer, a yellow card is meant as sort of a warning, just to kind of let the player know that they've crossed some of the boundaries of the rules of the game. A yellow card is given out for things such as diving, foul that is maybe a little bit too hard, or if a player has been persistently fouling. So they've failed a player too many times during the course of the match. There's also something called a professional foul. This is something where another player on the opposing team might have usually a breakaway more in the middle of the field, middle of the pitch. And so the defensive player will then pull them back, maybe even grab their jersey, tackle from behind. As long as it's not too dangerous, this is going to be a yellow card because basically they're trying to foul that player just to break up the play and stop things. Another way to get a yellow card is if you're arguing too much. This could happen, say a player disagrees with a call, they go over, they get in the referee's face, they start yelling a little too much. You can get a yellow card for that, especially if the player is not the captain, then they're more likely to get a yellow card for. So one of the last ways that a player can get a yellow card is by excessively celebrating. This is usually done maybe if the player runs like the length of the pitch to go celebrate with their fans, or even if they're trying to incite the away fans too much. The one definite way to get a yellow card is by taking off a jersey. If a player runs around, takes off their jersey, and is waving it around, that is an automatic yellow card. So that covers kind of some of the basics for a yellow card. So let's move on to a red card in soccer. Is when the player has gone too far and they are actually sent off, they are out of the game. When a player gets a red card, they are off of the pitch, they have to leave the field, they actually have to leave the bench as well. This means that whatever team that player is on is now down from 11 men to 10 men. They have to play the rest of the game with those 10 players on the field. They cannot sub a player in for that player that has gotten the red card. A couple ways to get a red card. Actually, if a player gets 2 yellow cards, that is accumulated into a red card. So the first official will actually pull out a yellow card to show the player, as well as pulling out a red card after that to signify that they've gotten their second yellow, which is now a red card. Some other ways a player can get a red card is by dangerous play. So this can be something, if a player tackles with 2 feet, that's usually a red card. If a player tackles with their studs up or their cleats up, so basically if they're sliding in and the bottom of their shoes meet with the opposing player in any way. If they kick a little bit too high, that can also be a red card. The one thing to note is that the main factor referees are looking for is kind of an intent to harm the other player. Basically, if it is too dangerous, then that's going to be another way that a player gets a red card is if they give up a penalty as what they call the last man back. So usually if a goalkeeper fouls a player in the penalty box, it is going to be a penalty as well as a red card for what they call denying a goal scoring chance. This can also be the same if it's a defender who's the last one back. It gets a little bit hazy here where the referee kind of has to interpret whether they believe the defender was, denying a goal-scoring opportunity, or if there was another covering player that might stop the play from. Those are some of the main ways to get a red card. When another way would also be fight instances where players can kind of go head-to-head with each other, and if one of the player raises their hand to the other one, puts it in the other player's face to push them away, hit them, is supposed to be a red card. Any kind of dangerous, purposeful play where you're trying to hurt, the player's trying to hurt another player, that is going to be a red card. One very important thing to note is that in soccer, many of the rules are at the referee's discretion. There is some subjectivity to what a call is. This includes giving out yellow and red cards. There are many plays where ex-referees will come on during or after the game and say, that was definitely a yellow card when one wasn't given, or saying, there's no way that was a red card when one was given out. So there is some interpretation given to how a referee wants to referee a game. If they want to leave it a little more open, they might give out fewer yellow cards. If they want to really clamp down, they might give out more yellow cards, which can result in some very sloppy games. So that covers some of the basics of what a yellow card is and what a red card is, and even a little bit about the officials and their role. That's it for this time. Please check out PremierSoccerChat.com, where I post lots of fantasy Premier League tips. You can also find me on Twitter and Facebook, and I'll put those links down below. Thanks for watching.